Buen dia. My name is Patricia Ann Talley. I'm the editor and publisher of ImagineMexico.com. I've lived in Zihuatanejo, Guerrero for the past 27 years. This past November, I attended the 24th annual meeting of the Black Towns of Mexico in Tamiula, Veracruz. I've attended these conferences for the past 6 years. They're wonderful conventions, and I want to share the experience with you. I accompanied Dr. Donahy Mendez Telo, the president of Mexico Negro Asociación Civil, one of the largest civil rights groups in the country, and she was the co-organizer of this event. Donahy is on the tourism faculty at Walgrove University. My background is in international business, so we have collaborated for years. Donahy also serves on the International Committee of the Dr. Martin Luther King Task Force, and the task force sponsored our trip. Muchas gracias, Dr. Martin Luther King Task Force. The Encuentro is an annual event that is held in various Black communities across the country. All nationalities and ethnicities were invited. For 2023, it was held in Tamiula, Veracruz, on the eastern coast of the country. It's on the Gulf of Mexico. Donahy and I live in Zihuatanejo, Guerrero, on the country's western coast, so it was a very long and challenging journey to get to Tamiula. Donahy, her daughter Sophia, and I flew from Zihuatanejo to Mexico City, had a 12-hour layover, and then took a 5-hour bus trip to Tamiula. In Mexico City, we stopped for soul food at Black Sea Cocina restaurant. We had collard greens and fried chicken. U.S. expats Louis Miles, far right, and Corinne Cobb joined us for lunch. We want to thank the owner, Tara Darnell, and her staff. We were so tired sleeping on the bus, but finally we arrived in Tamiula, Veracruz. Many Black towns are located in remote agricultural areas. Tamiula is a small fishing village. The town is a magical town known for its seafood. Tourists come to enjoy the beaches and to taste the unique dishes of the area. Tamiula is located on a lagoon that is fed by the waters of the Gulf of Mexico. The town's natural beauty is breathtaking. Tamiula's local population is only 5,000. Locals depend on fishing and catching shrimp in the lagoon. Many live in modest homes along the waterfront. We took a boat ride so you can see how the local people live. While her mother prepared for the convention, Sophia, Donahy's blooming 15-year-old daughter, and I hung out. The locals stopped, stared at me, talked to me. It happens all the time. It's my nappy hair. I always remind somebody of a family member with African roots. Sophia and I took a tour of the town. We went to the municipal center and the Plaza de los Pescadores, the Fisherman's Plaza. It has an engraved mural showing the history of the town since the Spanish conquest. Take a look. After a day of touring, it was time for the encuentro. In the opening ceremony of the encuentro, elders were asked to come up front and bless the event. Donahy looked at me and asked me to join. I was so honored and humbled to participate. I cried. The leaders of the convention then took a boat ride around the lagoon to bless the water. Next was the Walk of Recognition. Representatives from each Black community walked through the town, dancing, singing, and shouting, "No more Mexico without Afro-Mexicanos." We were in Veracruz, so of course the traditional Veracruz dancers were there. The costumes were spectacular. My dress was handmade from the Costa Chica region of Guerrero. My favorite dance troupe, Alma Cimarrones from Mexico City, were there too, dancing in the streets. Simply beautiful. Of course, Costa Chica was in the house. These dancers were from Coajinicquilapa, Guerrero, in the Costa Chica region. Donahue was born in that city, so her daughter Sophia, on the left, joined the group. After the march, we went to the municipal center where Donahue welcomed the large group of attendees, over 1,000 people, representatives from throughout Mexico, Latin America, the USA, and Europe. And I was the only US expat there. I'm a dual citizen. And again, that's why I want to share this with you. This was such an interesting activity. Maps of the world and the states of Mexico were put on display. And as attendees walked in, they were asked to mark the location of their origin to show the presence of Africans and their descendants around the world. Shown is Dr. Doris Carriaga, who is a native of Tamiula and a professor at University of New Mexico in the United States. The African presence in Mexico. During colonial times, Africans outnumbered Europeans by 3-1 in New Spain. In the USA, interracial marriages were not allowed until 1962, but the Catholic Church allowed them in Mexico and New Spain, thus creating mestizos, or mixed people. The encuentro included many educational presentations from some of the leading educators in the country and internationally. There were workshops about youth activism, women's rights, the LGBTQ plus community, international relations, identification of Afro-Mexican communities, and a workshop to prepare for the 2025 census update. I was a moderator for the international workshop. I explained that in the USA, 1 drop of Black blood classifies you as Black and it's put on your birth certificates. However, in Mexico, no document indicates race, a legacy of President Vicente Guerrero. On the census, Mexico identifies its indigenous groups by their languages. But since African descendants had no unique language, they have historically been counted but not recognized as an ethnic group until the 2020 census. In that census, people were asked to self-identify themselves as Afro-Mexican, African descendants, or Blacks. Participants in the workshop discussed creating a catalog for people to register as African descendants in Mexico so that they could better connect. This is spectacular. While books about diversity are being banned in the United States, the Mexican Council of Civil Rights published and distributed books to teach children and adults about their African heritage, women's and girls' rights, and respect for diversity. I can't put the books down, they're so fabulous. And of course, we had soul food in Tamiula too. Wonderful seafood and dishes on the beach. And there was a workshop on African hairstyles. I got Bantu knots, courtesy of Mr. Cornrow from Mexico City. The youth learned artwork. A professional artist outlined a mural and taught the youth to paint. A wall is now a masterpiece. The fellas came, Young men look the same all around the world. They came to watch and participate in the cultural event. Sit back and enjoy some of the wonderful entertainment from the Encuentro. Little 8-year-old boy from the Costa Chica region performed the Danza de los Diablos in front of the big crowd. Thanks to all the people who contributed their time, talents, and treasures to make this event possible. We hope to see you next year. Everyone is invited. The 25th Encuentro de los Pueblos Negros will be in the state of Morelos next year in mid-November.